I'm glad you asked me to come on because it's kind of working well within this whole thing that happened this week, which was I was inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame in the jazz category. Yeah, we had a great time.
So fantastic.
Yesterday at the Odeum in East Greenwich, and it was a nice house, and myself and Frank Potenza, an old friend guitarist, came from California. He was inducted along with Artie Cabral, who everybody knows in town, a legendary drummer, and Billy Osborne, who is related to Jeffrey Osborne, who was part of the original LTD band. And he's been in California his whole career with Ray Charles, and Anyway, we had a great show at the Odeum, and then. Just to get this all out up front, so we can move on.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it.
So and then the Hall of Fame inductions continue on Saturday and Sunday. What's happening on Saturday night at the Met in Pawtucket is the alternative bands, which are Plan 9, the Christian Hearse, and I forget the other band. Anyway, so those you can find it right on there.
We have it all.
Yeah. And then the Sunday is when they have these at the hallway in the Met. Have you been up there? Have you seen that?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, they have the installations where it's like
so
there's a big kind of thing of you and everything you've done. So the unveilings are Sunday at 2, and then at 3 o'clock in the Met, Hometown Rockers, Wild Turkey Band, and Riz are going to play. And then I'm playing with the Hometown Rockers and Wild Turkey, so I'm sitting in with them. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's been that. And it's been a very interesting life of music so far, So Rhode Islanders out there, you guys, if you probably do know, but if you don't know and you do a little investigating, you're going to find out that there's an amazing amount of talent had been here since since the early 1900s. All the way through to now, and there's a lot of folks still there, doing the thing. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And you have been, just going back through your past, you have been all over the world. You've played with so many people. Oh yeah.
I'll put my horn down for
Okay, great. I was wondering if you.
I might bring it out and toot it in a minute.
Okay, cool. Just tell me a little bit about what it's like to be recognized in your home state, because you've been everywhere and played with so many people. Yeah. Does it mean anything special to you to be recognized just by your folks at home, I guess?
No, it's totally, because you hear this always in any award show. You always hear people talking about, thank you so much to all the people who helped me when I was coming up. And if I had to stand here and make a list and tell everybody out there about all the folks that helped me from when I first started, let's go all the way back to my mother and father, and my first music teacher, and actually, when I wasn't gonna be a music person totally until I hit college. So I was always interested in music, and I played sax since I was like 12 years old. But when I went to URI, I thought I was going to be a physics major.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, because I got good grades in high school and physics and math and everything, so I took my first college level physics course, and I said, oh no, that's it. I'm not going to do this. So I went right
I didn't even get that far.
No. Well, I went right
you
to
go
the
farther
music,
than me.
Right. Well, I went right to the music department, and that's where the journey really, from the professional side, started. And it's taken me to where I am now. And so all I do is music. I'm a professor at Berklee College of Music. I've been there 20 years. And 17 CDs. I love producing music. I love writing music. I love performing music. I love teaching music. It's kind of, I've always had something to do. I always have a project, in the can ready. I'm working on, I'm working on a new CD now that's just about done. But we're going to Italy in the fall to record strings on
fantastic.
it, and we're going to perform it over there. And so it's been it's a great journey. But as far as the first question you said, I could just make a list that would be here more than my spot, just thanking everybody. And I think everybody out there, I think people go, gee, is he going to thank me? Is he going to thank me?
We just wrap it all up in one.
Yeah, I think you all know who you are, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to start mentioning names because I know I'll leave out a bunch of people.
It will take a while.
Yeah.
And let's go back to the fact that you've been at Berklee for so long. Is it important to you to teach music? You just have this wealth of knowledge. Do you think it's important to pass that on, or do you just enjoy it so much that you feel like you have a lot to spread?
Yeah, it's
You've written books. You've created a high-tech way of learning. I was reading about the multi-camera.
Yeah.
It's just really neat how you'd be able to put yourself out there. Why do you keep doing it?
It's it's kind of the energy that I experience from young musicians and players is so vital that it keeps me vital. You know, it keeps me. The thing about learning is that if you're smart, you never stop. So the whole point is that I learn something every day, and if you're humble enough to understand that you don't know everything, then you'll learn something new every day. So that's kind of how I am, and even with my students, their vitality and their desire kind of infects me, and that's the relationship we have. But I always want them to understand too where I'm coming from, and that kind of I got to where I am because I know certain things that would help them, and they're usually more practical than they are academic on a lot of levels. So it's like if you want to do this, you got to break it down into these steps, and do that, and then you're going to get there. And this is so that's part of the process. But the answer to your question is, I still love teaching, but it's frustrating sometimes.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? It's
I can only imagine.
It can be frustrating, but it's always rewarding in the end. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I mean, you've worked with and collaborated with so many people. I mean, just the wealth of experience and knowledge you may have. Just to name a few people: Benny King, Solomon Burke, The Temptations, Mike Stern, The Four Tops, Stevie Nicks, Kid Rock. I mean, just kind of all over the musical spectrum.
Yeah.
And to be able to provide that wealth of knowledge for students. Talk to me just about some of your experiences and how working with other people and then teaching young people, like you said, how that's helped you grow and develop as an artist.
It's the thing about legendary people is that they're people, right? So once you experience them one-on-one and you get to know them and you're working with them, even if it's for a really short period of time, everybody's human, Or my old friends used to say nobody's human. But anyways, everybody's human.
I like that better. I like that one better.
You like it better? Well, if you're in the presence of legendary people, most of the times it's an amazing experience in that they got to where they were because obviously they're who they are and they've done what they've done. But then when it comes down to the real nuts and bolts of what we're doing and how we're doing it, most of them are totally cool, and there's no like I'm a prima donna person, but you run into it occasionally. But for the most part, for me, the most accomplished legendary people I've ever run into are the easiest to work with. Cool. It's really cool. So and I think that for example, one of my recent connection to Nile Rodgers, who in the '70s produced all those great dance hits, and then produced Madonna's first album, Let's Dance, David Bowie, Duran Duran, blah blah blah, and then 5 years ago, Daft Punk, all those Grammys that they got with their hits, that was Nile, and he's out still doing it, and just to hang with him and be with him, he's a person that I really admire, only because he just has been himself all these years, and he hasn't really changed much, except that what he does is kind of magical. He has an ear for like, let's do this, And he told a few stories, like the Daft Punk hit, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry right now. Let's see. The one that was 4 years ago. Get Lucky. Get Lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting thinking all my Daft Punk songs.
There's a refrain in it. I'm not going to sing it for you. Anyways, I asked him, I said, how did you do that with Daft Punk? He said, well, I went into the studio and I played, because he's a guitar player, right? And he played the which is the total basis for the chorus. So they didn't even write the chorus yet. So he had played the guitar riff for them, and they put it around his thing, So he's got that, amazing kind of like wow factor where he hits it right on the head, But when I first met Robert Plant, I played with him. We had this big festival in Montrose, Atlantic 40th anniversary of Atlantic Records, and all the legendary people were there, and he was there, but it was backstage, a real photo op kind of time, but he didn't know I was in the band. So I went to get a photo op, and like the picture, if you ever see the picture of me and him, he's like really like, man, I don't even want to be in this. I don't want to be in this picture with this guy.
I don't know.
So it's like, what is he? And I go, and then afterwards, I said, I'm sorry, I'm in the band. He goes, oh, all right. So then later, it was like he had to come to me because I had to write the charts, horn charts for his songs, and he was totally cool, right? So it's totally normal, but it was sort of like that. That was funny. Anyways.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. So, any other thing?
You've just done so much. It's been so fun to talk to you. I'm wondering if maybe we can hear you play something.
Maybe I will.
Because you're kind of good at what you do.
Anybody got any water?
Oh yes, we can.
Give me a little water.
Yeah, definitely. What? So you're working on something new. You're going to Italy to record the strings for that. What are you working on?
The new songs are there. Sorry, thank you. All right. The new songs are. So I play music that's improvisational. That some people call it jazz, and it's sort of jazz, but it is really jazz too. So, jazz is if you want to define it, jazz is this thing where people get together and they negotiate a live performance with the only structure usually being the song from beginning to end, and then the improvisation that happens in the middle can be really open or more restricted, but still there's a negotiation between the players, and there's no real only one way to do it kind of thing, because it's very open. It's improvisational. Whereas my new recording has a shorter amount of improv and more about the song.
Cool.
So it's more about the melody and less about the improvising. Yeah.
Why'd you decide to go that way?
Well, because I've done all the other sides, and this was like I wanted to. Plus, I'm going to put strings on it, so I wanted it to be something that, not from a pop sense, but something that people would relate to the melody or the melodic content, and then maybe after they heard the song, they would remember it for the melody rather than remembering it for the amazing improv that happened between
the jam.
Yeah, the jam. Like they go, oh man, the soloists were amazing, but what was the song? I don't really remember the song so much. But this is more about the song.
Okay.
Yeah, not that one's better than the other, right? So
just doing something else.
Yeah, it's just something different. I've done sort of every kind of form of jazz that there is, you might say, funky, smooth, New Orleans-y, straight ahead, more avant-garde. Even collaborated with an Italian accordion orchestra, and we did like this whole new agey kind of. It was really fun.
I was gonna say, it has to be fun to be you. It has to be fun to be able to do all this and to be able to work with so many different people and to try different things, to have the time and the space and the energy, and to just to be able to have the availability to move throughout and to do that.
Yes,
it's really neat.
It's a lot of fun. I like teaching too. So recently I did there's a new venue that opened up down in South County, the Pump House. I'll give them a little plug now, and they're doing some great stuff there. They build guitars on one side, the other side's a venue, and I did 3 workshops there, and then we had a concert, and it was fun because
is Greg doing something with them too?
Greg Abati's doing something this Sunday
with them, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll miss it because I'll be up at the Hall of Fame.
You'll be there.
Oh, yeah, up there, yeah. So, so I like teaching, and I like doing the. The beginning of the show, we did one song in 15 different styles, because the whole point of the workshops are styles, just learning about styles. So we did one song, we played it in all these different styles, and people were like, "Oh, really? Wow, it's amazing!" It's like, wow, because the style vocabulary is very important to me, So Thelonious Monk said, "Make the drummer sound good." So that's kind of what I do. I like to make the drummer sound good.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Okay, I'm gonna
hear this thing?
I'm gonna slide over. Yeah, I want to hear this thing.
What this is? Anybody know what this is?
I do not know, but it's awesome.
It's not a clarinet.
And
it's my lighter sax.
I was gonna say it's not a clarinet, but it's not a saxophone.
Yes,
but it is a saxophone.
Yeah, it's a soprano sax.
It's a soprano sax.
And I was lazy today.
This is awesome. Well, it's probably easier to hear.
My wife was in the back here, said, "You should have brought your tenor."
This is so
She's
cool.
She's laughing, right? And I said,
cool.
I didn't feel like it was. Everybody's laughing.
Okay, I'm gonna scoot out of the way. I'm gonna have you play something. Maybe pop back in and have you play something else.
All right.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm gonna play right now.
You can just jam.
Yeah,
do whatever you want. Okay, Dan, ready.
All right, here we go. So let's see. What key are we in? Let's do it in. Let's do D minor. How's that? Okay. Let's see. Oh, I got one for you. Let's see. No, I won't do that one. I'll do this one. Okay. was an Indian bhajan. Yeah. It's a melody, just a quick little melody, right? Fun. I'll play something else for you.
Good.
Okay. Here's a.
I was tweeting you. I wasn't.
You're tweeting? Let's hear it.
I was
Okay.
tweeting you.
Oh. This is one of my tunes. It's called the Monks. This is dedicated to Thelonious Monk. It's called Monk's Walk. So that's Thelonious Monk. Yeah. Okay. Kind of a second line thing. You're not hearing the bass part, but you're hearing me, right? You heard the groove, though, I think.
That's awesome.
You heard the groove?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of based on the blues. Yeah. So a lot of my music's based on soulfulness or bluesiness, kind of. And here's one of my tunes. I'll play one more. It's a ballad called Tiara. Okay. All right. And here's a low B flat. That's a low B flat. You guys out there. That's the lowest note on the soprano sax. Here's a middle B flat. High B flat. Here's the highest note. So,
that sounds amazing.
So here's the whole range of the soprano sax. All right, that's enough.
Okay. Yay! Fantastic. So beautiful. So obviously you have so many albums out. You're on SoundCloud, which is where I was listening to you today. When can we expect to hear your latest album?
Well, I can point, before we talk about that quickly, danmoretti.com is got full of stuff. So if you go, everybody has so much time in their lives to play around with the internet.
Well, that's where I got all this great wealth of stuff. That's where I was listening to you.
When you're home and you're not using Alexa, or you're not like doing something else, go to danmoretti.com. There's a bunch of stuff on there, and you can check out my history there. All my CDs are there. There's videos. I have a YouTube channel that's connected to that. The SoundCloud is there. Anyway, the new CD I think will be out in the fall.
Great.
And we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, I'll be on sabbatical in the fall, and I'm doing a project. It's called researching soul jazz is a phenomenon that happened in the late 50s and 60s. It's when jazz guys blended their music with soul music, and there's a whole palette of artists out there that are famous for that. And so I'm going to study soul jazz saxophone playing, which I love to do anyway. So I study that, and I'm going to transcribe and do production analysis on how it was produced and recorded and written, and I'm going to transcribe enough for that to do a performance of that. Plus, I'm going to write a CD's worth of material in that genre. And then we're going to record a live CD of that.
That's amazing.
Yes, that'll be fun.
And then will you come back and talk to us all about it?
That'd be great.
About the whole experience?
That'd be awesome.
And that sounds phenomenal.
It'll be a nice journey. That'll be in the fall. And in the meantime, I'm just...
You're coming here and
hanging out with you guys.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
Well, thanks for having me, okay?
Thank you so much.